Malaysian animation film are now being accepted not merely by the audiences from local but also from the global because of its contents development that assisted by the progress of technology and multimedia. At first, the focus content in the Malaysian animation is the culture of Malaysian itself to promote harmony towards Malaysian society who comes from different background of races and began to change to more universal content to attract international viewers. The first Malaysian animated series to be accepted globally was Bola Kampung, as it aired in 16 Asian countries over Disney Channel in November 2007, followed by Upin and Ipin animation series, which became a huge phenomenon, especially in Southeast Asian countries such as Singapore, Indonesia, and Brunei, that shared similar cultures and language. And the latest one is Bobo Boy the movie that hits 13 million ringgit Malaysia after 70 days of showing. In the era of technology today, kids are not being excluded to live with electronic media such as television, smartphone, tablet and other kinds of gadgets because all of these things have become a requirement and already put well into everyone's lives. There is a high possibility of kids being exposed to everything through those devices, and for sure they are more attracted to watch cartoon as it has many attractive elements that catch the kids' attention to watch them. There are a lot of issues to address when it comes to a topic regarding the exposure of kids to cartoon animation in terms of its influence on them in many aspects such as behavior and language. Malaysian animation cartoon shows many examples of respect in its storyline. For instance, in the cartoon television series, namely Omar and Hana, there are a few listed scenes that indicate the value of respect, such as in the episode of Makan Besar, when Omar's and Hana's father made a phone call with their grandfather to inform him something. He used low and polite intonation during the conversation and also began the conversation with salam and asked about his health generally. These scenes educates viewers, especially kids, to respect and be polite when talking to parents or people who are older than them. Next, in the episode of Mari Beri Salam, there is a scene where their father greeted an unknown man who was working as a cleaner with salam and shake hands with him. In this incident, Omar and Hana were encouraged to greet people with salam too after watching their father's deed. The father's deed shows and teach viewers to respect one another and the one who is older than them even though they do not know them. Secondly, Malaysian animation cartoon contains the value of tolerance as one of the good manners to be practiced in life. The element of tolerance can be seen from the episode of Esok Hari Raya in the cartoon series of Upin and Ipin. The scene happened during the month of Ramadan, where every Muslim is obliged to fast from dawn until dusk. Upin and Ipin complained that they felt exhausted and thirsty in this scene. After that, Raju, their Indian friend, offered to treat them for drinks, and they agreed to accept the offer because they assumed no one will know about it. Mei Mei, their Chinese friend, then told them that even though people do not know, but God knows, and He will get angry with them for their deeds. The value of tolerance can be seen when Mei Mei reminded Upin and Ipin that their deeds were wrong in Islam. The message that she wanted to bring was everyone has their own belief to practice, and they cannot play around in practicing them. Even though Mei Mei is an adherent of a different religion from Upin and Ipin, she still reminded them to practice their obligations as Muslims rightly. The element of tolerance also can be seen in the episode of Gong Si Fa Chai, where Upin and Ipin wondered why that month was called as the month of ghosts. Opah, their grandmother, then explained that it was the belief of the Chinese. India believe the door of heaven and hell will be opened, and all the dead people will go down to the earth. That is why that month called the month of ghosts. Next, Malaysian animation cartoon also exposes viewers to the value of concern. In the episode of Bila Hujan Turun from the cartoon series Upin and Ipin, there is a scene where Upin and Ipin were playing and watching television in their house during a heavy raining day. Out of sudden, they got a phone call from Kak Ros and were told to inform Opah that she will return home late from the shop because she forgot to bring her umbrella, so she needed to wait for the rain stops. Upin and Ipin felt sorry for Kak Ros and decided to help Kak Ros by sending her the umbrella. They went to the shop by wearing their handmade raincoat just to pass their sister her umbrella to ensure that she can return home. Kak Ros felt touched by her twin brother's deed and rewarded them with 2 raincoats. Besides, the value of concern also can be seen in the episode of Makan Besar from the cartoon series of Omar and Hannah. There is a scene where Omar and Hannah were on their way to the hometown with their parents. Out of the blue, their father saw an old man was walking alone with his motorcycle by the roadside because it had out of fuel. The father then stopped his car and headed to the old man to offer him his help. He bought him the fuel for the motorcycle without asking for any reward on his good deed. According to a study towards a number of 20 respondents from 2D animation program students of College Community Segamat that has been chosen randomly, 90% of them agreed that Upin and Ipin has developed an animation series that indicates the identity of Malay, and 80% of them admitted that this animation series has proven the identity of Malay among Malaysia community. These data are proven by the using of Malay language as the intermediate language along the duration of 30 minutes of this cartoon series, and it has been used by all walks of life regardless of race. For instance, Meme and Raju are able to speak in Malay fluently with minor pronunciation, even though they are respectively is a Chinese and Indian. This shows that the language of Malay is being approved and applied by not only the Malay race in the daily life conversation. Other than that, Upin and Ipin also introduces the Malay arts such as musical instrument, namely kompang, which is normally played during the wedding through the episode of Kompang di Palu, and the show of Wayang Kulit through the episode of Di Sebalik Tabir. Next, the culture of the Indians can be seen through the festival of Deepavali celebrated by Devi and Uncle Muthu, the Indian characters of this animation series in the episode of Pesta Cahaya. In this episode, Opah explained to Upin and Ipin that the Indians light up the oil lamp at their house during this festival because they believe that is a sign of life, goodness, and happiness. Besides, this episode also shows the arts of Indian culture such as kolam made with a combination of coloured rice to form a picture. Uncle Muthu explained to Upin and Ipin that the kolam is a sign of safety and blessing so that the whole house will get peaceful. Upin and Ipin animation also exposing the culture of Chinese through the episode of Gong Si Fa Chai. In this episode, Mei Mei and Uncle Ah Tong, the Chinese characters in this animation, celebrated the festival of Gong Si Fa Chai. There is a scene in this episode where Uncle Ah Tong explained to Upin and Ipin that the Chinese wear red clothes, hang on red lanterns and paste the chunlian during this festival is for the purpose of safety, because they believe to a history saying that a monster, namely Nyan, who like to disturb kids will emerge during the day of New Year, and it scares the red color and noise. Other than that, this episode also brings up Barongsai, a common show during New Year celebration. In their belief, Barongsai can dispel and protect them from Nyan and a sign of happiness and peaceful.
Next, developing skills. Mastering many skills at an early age is important. These are a few skills that the kids can master by watching Malaysia's animation cartoons, such as reading and calculating skills, cognitive skills, and linguistic skills. Firstly, mastering reading skills and calculating skills. There are a lot of choices of animated cartoons that teach reading, counting, and calculating that can watch by children. For example, Upin and Ipin's animation also has a music video regarding multiplication numbers named Bijak Sifir. Next, in the episodes of ABC of Didi and Friends, Didi and his friends are singing ABC to Z songs, and in the episode of Jom Belajar Phonik, they learn the phonics or the latest sounds from A to Z through singing. In addition, animated cartoons also offer children to learn to read Alif Bata and recite doa and surah from the Quran. For instance, Omar and Hana learn Alif Bata in the episodes of Alif Bata. They also learn to recite short surah from the Quran in the episodes of Bacaan Surah Pendek, and also learn to recite doa and zikr such as in the episodes of Doa Selepas Wuduk. Next, well-animated cartoons also will influence children's cognitive development. Cognitive development is the process by which a person perceives, think about, and comprehends his or her surroundings. During childhood, a person develops various intellectual skills such as imitation, pretend play, verbal development, problem solving, creativity, and logical thinking. So, by using cartoons, appeal to both the visual and auditory senses, increasing efficacy through diversity and inventiveness that stimulate children's cognitive skills. For instance, children are able to observe and understand their favorite cartoons and tend to imitate their observations. The action of imitation is a process of sharpening children's cognitive development, which is it stimulates their creative thinking in how to portray their detailed imagination into an action. In Bola Kampung animated cartoon, episode 10 of season 1 showed that Iwan, a football player of his kampung, passionate to try to learn new sport which is sepak takraw. He is determined to mastering sepakan helang as a most difficult and challenging skill to be mastered. This episode will inspire kids to get involved in sport and always be determined to achieve success. Furthermore, watching cartoon also can empower children's linguistic skills, which are their language proficiency. They will be able to learn new words, phrases, vocabularies, idiom, or poems. For instance, in Upin and Ipin animation, there is a sing boy character named Georgie who would like to create pantun dokurat in his daily conversation. Other than that, Kampung Boy animation also emphasized the Malay language. In the episodes of Lain Rumput, Lain Lalang, this episode named after the idiom, which means the customs and way of life of a place are different from place to place. The episode portrayed the idiom perfectly, which is the difference between village lifestyles and city lifestyles. Therefore, indirectly, children can learn to create pantun and gain new idioms or peribahasa just by watching cartoon. Moreover, watching cartoon also will expose children to a wide variety of languages. For example, Didi and Friends animation are available in English, and Omar and Hana's animation are available in two languages, which are English and Arabic. Conclusions: cartoons are one of the strong factors that do affect children's behavior, psychology, and skills positively or negatively. Even though Malaysian animated cartoons contribute more positive influence on children than negativity, parents still have to monitor them while they are watching cartoons and limit their screen times.